Hey guys, okay, today is December 7th. As President Roosevelt said, a day that will live in infamy. Um, this was the day that Pearl Harbor, Hawaii was attacked by the Japanese in an attempt to draw us into World War II, which worked, obviously. Why you would want to draw the mightiest military power in the world into your war? Don't know. Maybe because you thought you were mightier. Whoops. And very early that morning, Hawaii time, they flew over Pearl Harbor. They call it a kamikaze attack because in Japanese culture, kamikaze means that they don't care if they die in the process. They're like suicide attacks almost. Only the words for suicide over there is harikari. But kamikaze means that they'll just dive bomb and they don't care whether they crash as long as they kill you in the process. Now, my understanding from my history class that there were some rogue generals that made those decisions, like attacking Pearl Harbor, that it wasn't the emperor himself that made that decision. That it was a rogue general. It left the emperor at war with us. Not that he was too particularly happy about that. Like I said, history class. Because he knew we were the most powerful military nation in the world. And so we ended up, as you would expect, beating the crap out of them. And us being the United States, when it was all said and done after we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki with, nuclear weapons, which I completely disagree with, but I mean, how many innocent people have to die to make a point? Anyway, after we did that and they surrendered, we decided that in the peace treaty, they would not have a military for decades, and we would effectively be their military, be their protector. After they sunk our ships and killed thousands of our people, but we're now at peace, so we'll be your protector for decades to come. Wow. I think they're just now allowed to build a new military. I'm not sure what the time frame on that was. My history teacher was actually a World War II vet. So, yeah, that was a long time ago. He's not alive anymore, as you can quite imagine. Perfect. He knew stuff, He used to guard the break, which is the military prison. during the war. All of my grandfathers were World War II veterans. My father's best friend, Bob. You've heard him on the channel before in the background and whatnot. His dad died in World War II. Just within weeks of the war ending. And he had come home to see Bob, and Bob was like 6 weeks old. By the time Bob was 6 months old, he was gone. So, that's beyond tragic. There are a lot of stories like that. How many of those men on those ships docked in Pearl Harbor? And if you get to see the movie Tora, 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 let me slow down. Tora, Tora, Tora. T-O-R-A-H. Or no, T-O-R-A. If you get to see it, watch it, because it goes through Pearl Harbor and everything. We watched it in school, like I said, in history class. They were going through their morning routines on the ships. When all of a sudden they're being fired on. They were doing their morning music practice and all that stuff, and they just started scrambling. Get the heck out of the way, you know? Because they're being fired on from the air. I just can't imagine the fear. And of course, the USS Indianapolis and some of the other boats that went down. Yeah, boats. My uncle always hates when I say that. They're ships. They're not boats, they're ships, as my uncle will clearly tell me. Because I will talk to him about being on the boat, and he'll just look at me, no, it's a ship, honey, it's not a boat. And I know that. There's a big difference. And so, yeah, he was Vietnam era, but excuse me. And excuse me. It's my understanding that that our decoders knew that the Japanese were planning an attack, but I don't think they knew exactly when or exactly where. Again, I highly recommend that movie. I will link it in the description if I can find it. And I'm going to sneeze again. This video is dedicated to all of those who lost their lives this day. Years ago was that? '74. No, 84 years ago. My father was born in 44 and he'd be 82. Well, he would be 82 this coming year. So, yeah, 84. Next year will be 85. I have a lot of family that fought. And I do like to remember. Today, Japan are some of our best friends. We need to acknowledge that the people of Japan did nothing wrong. Even the emperor, what just happened? He had a couple of rogue generals that made a horrible decision. And we can't hold that against an entire people. So, thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you for wrapping.